name is Jason Garcia, and it's an absolute honor to be considered a bishop candidate for the Free Methodist Church. You know, a little over a generation ago, my grandfather came from Mexico to America looking for opportunity. By today's terms, he probably would have been called an illegal alien. In his wildest dreams, he would have never known, as he settled down and had a family, that his son, my father, would become one of the very first Mexican-American jet air fighters. I'm just sorry that he wasn't here to be able to see that his grandson was a candidate to become a bishop for the Free Methodist Church. My dad and my mother are two of my heroes. And as they came to Christ, our entire destiny changed. I have 3 kids, mothered by an amazing lady. Her name is Garcia, and I met her at college. In fact, her father was the president of the college that I graduated from. It's probably the reason why I actually got through college. As we settled in, we had 3 children, as I referred to, and Morgan and Evan and Kylie. They all live in Southern California, San Clemente area. And they're the joys of our life. They all love Jesus. And to be real frank with you, probably the most important thing that we ever did was to raise great kids who love Jesus and who minister to our community and impact their community and beyond. I've served in actual pastoral ministry for a little over 35 years. I started in North Hollywood, California as a student ministries pastor. And I have pastored several different churches, interestingly across the nation, mainly in California, but we planted a church in the South. We also pastored a great church in the Midwest, but most of the ministry that we've been a part of has been in Southern California. And I've played many roles since my pastoring days. I've actually worked for different size churches, from anywhere from 12 that we planted all the way to a church of 30,000. Throughout the years, what I have noticed about pastoring people is that regardless of the size of the church, there are fundamental principles that are absolutely essential to be able to develop and to build a healthy church culture. And so with that being said, the opportunity to be able to actually lead from a local church level to a network level was a monumental shift of thinking. A little over 5 years ago, Bishop Matt and the Board of Bishops had asked me if I would be interested in helping them write a strategy for multiplication and church planting. Because of that relationship and because of that task, I got to know their hearts, got to know their vision. And one day, Bishop Matt asked me if I would be interested in being a network lead for one of our conferences, a superintendent. As we talked it through, he talked to me about this amazing conference called the Pacific Coast Japanese Conference, the PCJC. Over the last 4 years, we as a conference have seen some amazing things take place. We've replanted many churches, we've planted churches, but the most important thing that we've seen is I've seen churches work together to reach their community and beyond. We've seen revival take place. We've seen people get saved. And we have seen a leadership pipeline begin to raise up for the future of the PCJC. It's been a lot of fun, but it's been amazing to see how God has used this collective of leaders to reach not just the Asian community, but the Latin community, the African American community, and in any community that they found themselves or that they were located in. We saw movement forward by the power of God's Spirit. We're so thankful for how they have opened their hearts to be used by God. As it relates to this next chapter, we don't know what it's going to hold. That's up to you. And I'm completely open-handed in regards to this opportunity of becoming a bishop. I believe that this is an extremely important time for the Free Methodist Church. Over the past few weeks, I've been asked by many people this one great question, and that is, what will the Free Methodist Church look like in 4 years? Well, it's my hope that as we unpack a vision and a strategy for the Free Methodist Church, that it would have 5 different components and objectives, vision components and objectives. And I would say that the first one starts at church planting. I believe with all my heart that we need to plant churches specifically in urban areas to reach people who have never heard the gospel, or where there's not a church there to be able to share a full gospel message. I also believe that the next 4 years that we will build a team to go into our local churches throughout the United States and around the world to be able to help them develop a strategy to reach their community, to build in a leadership pipeline, to build in multiplicative systems to help them not only reach their community and beyond, but ensure their growth and the development of their leaders for the next few decades. We call that recalibration. And my hope is that as a denomination, we would be known as being able to be a church that goes shoulder to shoulder with pastors, helping them through the difficult times that they face in reaching their community and growing their churches. I also believe very strongly that we need to reach the next generation. In fact, Gen Z, Gen Y, the millennial generation as well, all of them are right now building the underpinnings, the societal underpinnings of our nation. And it's essential that we focus on not only answering the questions that they're asking, but also going side by side, walking with them through a culture that seems to be falling apart and polarizing itself over the past few decades. I also think that one of the most specific things that we can do is begin to address some of the fractures that we see in our society. If it's the social political fractures, if it's the social sexual fractures, if it's the racial fractures that we see. What's our role in presenting the gospel and the hope of Jesus Christ to begin to mend what is ailing our culture and our society? The answer isn't necessarily going to be social movements. It's going to be the gospel of Jesus Christ. And that's going to transcend any social movement. Because when you introduce the power of God's Spirit, there's life, there's health, there's unity. And it's only going to be through the gospel of Jesus Christ that we're going to be able to see the healing that we desperately need in our society.